Welcome to Blake Street Banter, where one of us knows what the word banter means. The other two are just along for the ride. James, say what's up.
Hey,
And we are joined by now family of the pod, Blake Goldsberry. What up, big dog?
How's it going?
It is good. It's good to see you. It's been a while.
It has. It's been what, 2 years now?
Yeah, I was just trying to tell James. So you have the KU shirt on, and I
Yep.
remember asking you, are you going on record that KU is going to win the championship? And I think they ended up going to win it that season.
Was it
I think it was
last?
21.
It was. It was that year. Yeah.
It was at the beginning of the
Uh,
season. I think you called it. So
I
it's been
did.
two
Yeah.
basketball seasons, I guess.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's been a hot minute. And here you are in Hartford, doing your thing. Before we get into all that baseball stuff, we're big fans of love. Congratulations on the wedding this off season.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
It's always fun to because it is the off season. Like it's like all of your guys' Instagrams. It's just marriage, marriage, best man, marriage. Like
Literally. Yeah. Seems
just
like everyone gets either married or is engaged in the off season. We all come
yeah.
back and it's like, oh, now he's engaged, he's married, he's married.
Just kind of like the norm for it, right?
Yeah.
But I always like to ask this question because as a married man myself, what was the one thing about the wedding that went off without a hitch that you had a hand in?
Oh. What do you mean by that?
Like what can you hold your head high on that like, you know what, I helped plan that and it went well. Like for me, it was like the music. Like I found the good
DJ.
DJ.
Oh yeah. I had a D I did it. I got the DJ.
Okay.
That was my like one job was like you are in charge of what was like DJ or band. I was like, I think DJ. And she was like, all right, that's your job. And I was like, all right. And she actually sent me two people, two people to call and reach out to me. So I reached out to them, but DJ was awesome. They brought lights too with it that went with the music. And I was like, yeah, I did a good job on that.
There you go.
Nice.
There you go. Love that. And how's the golf game going?
It's all right. I play a little bit spring training, but trying to get Weatherly a little bit better. He's struggling, but it's all right. We played out here twice now, so there's some cool courses out here. Definitely different scenery than Denver. So
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
That's fun
but
though.
it's starting to get green out here, which is nice. First day we played was pretty cold. We actually played on Easter, um, just because being away, we don't really have family to go to. So we got out and played. It was kind of chilly, but nice to get out.
Yeah. What are you shooting now?
We played the other day, and I shot 78 the first day, and then I shot 80 on the dot the next day. So
That's impressive. And remember,
Yeah,
folks,
it's respectable.
James, did you know that Blake's dad cut him from the golf team?
he did.
Did he really? How do you navigate that conversation? That's a tough one.
It was so awkward. It was like tryouts. Obviously, it's just like based off scores, so it's not like there's potential of keeping someone. So I just remember I turned in my card that year, and they had like a group of us. They called, and they were like, "If your name's in this, come over here." And my name got called, and I was like, "Does that mean I made it or not?" And then he actually was the one who broke the news to me, and uh, kind of took it like whatever. And then as soon as that little mini group broke up, went to his car because he drove me there, and I was just sitting on the bumper waiting for him, crying. So
That's crazy. This is in Littleton.
it was. I mean, yeah, I was at Cherry Creek High School, but
Okay, guys.
just cut me. So
I would never let him live that down.
it was bad. It was really bad.
Do you guys go out now and like do you just like rub it in his face when you like shoot 10 under than him?
Yeah, like I destroy him now. Like he can't even keep up with me. And I'm like, you cut me from golf. So
Like every time you make the putt, you just give him
yeah,
that stare.
yeah.
That's
Nothing's a
awesome.
gimme. Nothing's a gimme for him.
Love that. I love that. So baseball, you're out in Hartford. You had a pretty solid season in Spokane after your rehab. To walk us through that rehab because you had some crazy injuries last time we talked. Just something wasn't feeling right, like when you got on the mound and then you had a rehab, then you had that last season. But walk us through, what was the injury? How was the rehab going for it? What was the 2022 season like, I guess?
Yeah. It was a long start. Spring training was starting out really well. I actually was like, I came into spring training thinking like this is the best I've felt in a long time. My body was in what I thought was great shape. I was throwing pretty hard, and my first outing, I think it was, of spring training against the Giants, I felt like a little pinch in my like back knee on the inside of my knee,
Okay.
and I had 2 outs. Literally threw 2 more pitches, got a guy to fly out, and I was done. I was walking off, and I was like, "This doesn't feel right." Kind of just like brushed it off because you don't want to be the hurt guy, and just getting out of spring training is a win in itself.
Right.
And I kind of brushed it off. Next 2 days, I just never felt right. They thought maybe I was just kind of tight in my quad. That could be like referring pain down in like my inside of my knee. And I threw like 3 days later at the Giants, and it was like 2 pitches in, and I just felt like a sharp, like it just like kind of gave out on me, and I was like, "What was that?" And I didn't want to say anything, and so I just kept pitching, like not even using my back leg, and finally got done with the game. Whatever, came in, we were on our way back, and I was sitting in the van, and I was like, I actually feel fine. Like I don't have any pain sitting here, and I was like, maybe I'm just tweaked it. I'm fine. And I got, as soon as I took a step out of the van, I was like, uh-oh, something's like really wrong.
Really bad.
And we had our only off day was the next day. So I tried to just bear through it, and I'm fine. And as soon as I like did anything, I couldn't even walk. And I walked in the next day. The trainers were like, yeah, we should probably get you an MRI, and came back with a torn MCL on my back leg, my right leg. So it was supposed to be at a grade 2. So it wasn't like fully in half. That would require surgery. So luckily it wasn't. So I was told like 4 to 6 weeks of essentially like nothing.
Yeah.
And then you'll build up from there. So I thought 4 to 6 weeks meant 4 to 6 weeks of like kind of building up, and then I'll be cleared. So when the 4 to 6 weeks hit and I still wasn't doing much, I was frustrated, definitely. But they did a really good job. I mean, they told me it would kind of linger for about the whole year, and it did. But I tried to get out of there as soon as I could, and once I got out, I had a great year. I think being hurt and staying back in Arizona and seeing your friends play every night, you have a new perspective of how grateful you should be when you are out there. So I think once I got out there, it was like, I remember like the first day I was like, I'm not going to complain about anything this whole year, because being in Arizona, seeing you guys here was the worst feeling in the world. And I think that helped my mentality, because I had a great year. Spokane was awesome. I got out there after the cold. So they were all telling me how miserable it was to start. So luckily I got out of that. But I felt like I threw a ton in like 2.5 months. So
yeah,
it was good.
Yeah. Because your first game, looking at your baseball reference pitcher log here, your first game at the ACL was in the first part of June, and you made quick work of that. Then you were in Fresno at the end of June, and then by June 28th, you were up in Spokane for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it seems kind of speedy, like thinking about it. Like that's about 2 months, right? Like you're the 8 weeks before you're back on the mound and stuff.
Right.
But so like, how does that perspective kind of help you now? Like, are you in that same mental state now after the season, in this new season now after last season's over?
Yeah, for sure. Because I think like everybody says at spring training, like I said earlier, to get out of spring training is like a big deal. And like if you get out of there healthy, it's like that's your first win. And so getting out here again and being able to move up a level after really only being in Spokane for about 2 months, I'm super grateful to be here, because I definitely, like, if I wouldn't have probably thrown as well as I did, I probably wouldn't be here. So I'm super just pumped to be here, be in AA, and excited to be here. So
Yeah, that's a mentality you kind of have to have
yeah,
as you're going through this. Like the
right.
more and more we talk to you guys, the more and more like that grind does take a toll, and you do have to find a way to prove yourself, like for lack of a better word, but like show what you're doing. And you definitely did that at Spokane. Like, did your body just feel different after coming back that year, like after the rehab and stuff? Because like these numbers are pretty solid, man.
Yeah, they were. I don't know. Well, actually, I had like a kind of like a blessing in disguise in Arizona. I was rehabbing, and Jake Summers was down there rehabbing because he just had TJ. In one of my early rehab appearances, I was looking at video because my velo was way down. I was like 88, 91, and I was kind of frustrated. And I knew part of it was I just wasn't using my back leg because it hurt. And so I was looking at velo, and he was just sitting right next to me. And I think the main reason for like the numbers last year was I was throwing two different type of fastballs, like one that would kind of run more and one that would kind of ride and have a little more vert on it. And he was just like, dude, you're throwing like two different fastballs, and like when you mix them together, they're terrible together. Like that one fastball you're throwing is like, they call it a dead zone fastball. And I was like, what? And he's like, your metrics are like terrible. This is like exactly what a hitter wants to see. And he's like, you can either, like you've shown in these, like you can throw it to the top of the zone with vert, or you can run it. You just need to pick one and like go after it. And I was like, okay. So I had the extra time to work on it down there, and I kind of went with the vert fastball. And I mean, I've never been a huge strikeout guy. And then last year, as soon as I went to the vert fastball and started throwing fastballs more, it just like took off. And then I got more confidence in it, and yeah, everything just like took off. So being down there was a little bit of a blessing, just because I got to work on something at a time you probably don't get to work on something. So
yeah, and were you guys just like, were you planning on like looking at your stuff like that, or were you guys just like looking at your stuff together and he just pointed it out?
I was just kind of looking at my like mechanics because I was like, I know my back leg hurts,
Okay, yeah,
but I want to get out of here. So like, how bad do I look throwing mechanically? And he was just sitting next to me, like just hanging out. And I was like, just clicked on my numbers just to pull them up. And we were looking at him, and I was like, look at this. This one took off. And I was like, this one was straight. And he's like, yeah, you need to pick one. And then he broke it down for me because he went to Driveline the year before.
okay.
And he kind of taught me like all the metric stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's it. So
Was it your grip? Or like,
it wasn't necessarily my grip. I realized like when I would face a lefty before, I would like kind of like drop my arm a little bit because I knew I could miss like arm side. Because
okay.
and if I faced a righty, I could miss arm side, so I'd be a little bit more on top of it. So I was like, well, screw it. I guess I'm just going to be the guy who gets on top of it and tries to throw as hard as he can. And once I got comfortable with that, velo started to get back. I got fully healthy, and velo just kept ticking up and up and up, and confidence went up and up and up. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah, that always helps. That's cool. So what's your arsenal now? So you got that vert fastball.
Right now I'm throwing fastball changeup, slider, and it's like I'm also throwing like a slurve kind of curveball thing.
Okay.
I threw all four. I threw three last year to start the year, and then I added a more firm like slutter, or they call it slider cutter mix in there.
Yeah. Do you like that term for it? There was some discourse on the internet at the beginning of this year with the term slutter.
Slutter, yeah. It's just easier, but yeah.
Yeah, it's a little silly there. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So yeah, 3 games so far in Hartford. One game you went 3 innings, and the other 2 you went one or a little over 1. Yeah. What do you prefer? You like the long stints? Like the one done?
I don't know. I mean, the long stints are nice when you're in a rhythm because you just keep going. Like last week, the first outing I had was 3 innings, and it was just like after the first, I was like, sweet. I had a quick second, and they were like, you good? I'm like, yep. The third went quick, and it was just like you get in a rhythm, and you can just eat innings like that, and you can stay hot. But I think there's also something to being like the 1 inning guy who comes in and just lets it eat for 1 inning. And I mean, that's what I did last year more of. It was kind of like a 7th, 8th inning guy. That was kind of nice, just knowing like when I was going to go in, kind of like if it was a close game or if we had a lead, like I was probably going to go. So not knowing yet keeps me on my toes. I don't know. I'll do either, whatever they want, honestly.
You really have no preference to either one?
I would. I would definitely probably prefer the 1 inning stint.
Yeah.
But I really am not opposed to throwing 3 at a time. If like I said, if you get in a rhythm, it's awesome.
Yeah, that I'm sure that feeling of just like dominating and feeling good about everything that's coming out, like I'm sure that feels pretty solid. Yeah, I can see that.
Definitely. So.
And I definitely noticed that Kristen Orfia likes to use his arm barn guys 2 or 3 innings at a time. It's not very rarely does he ever go 1-1-1-1-1 all the way through.
Yeah, so far this year it's been a lot of 1+ stuff.
Yeah,
even 2+ for a lot of us. So
yeah, it's interesting how he does it, and like you see, like it's Spokane should know who the manager down there, but he doesn't seem to do that as often as like Kristen Orfia does up in Hartford. So it's just kind of interesting, the 2 different philosophies or ways to go about it there.
Yeah.
So we're keeping it short, so we're gonna end it with this. So it's your Littleton Colorado Rockies is 30-year anniversary, right?
Yeah.
So Kyle Freeland's on the bump tonight. Probably gonna turn that on before I go to sleep here. But
don't
don't do it.
Yeah, sorry, I hate to say it.
Okay.
I was actually just watching right before.
I saw he gave up a really weak home run was like an outie, like an out almost everywhere to clutch. But anyway, 30-year anniversary, Colorado Rockies fan as growing up. Give us that one Colorado moment, Rockies moment that you remember, that you love, that you will like, that made you like that next level fan.
Probably the 07 World Series run. The city like went nuts over that. Like that, the whole like Rocktober started then, and like that was like I remember going to school, and it was like Rockies jerseys everywhere. That's all anyone wanted to talk about. I think that's when I was like, holy smokes, like the Rockies are sweet. Like, I was so like, it was so cool. I mean, I went to so many games growing up that I don't think I had like a specific moment where I was like at a young age where I was like, the Rockies are awesome. I did go to a game. Oh, I don't know what year it was. It was probably 17 or 18. And Ryan McMahon went back-to-back nights with walk-offs. I was at both those games. That was sweet. But like I said before that, I was already like, once the 07 Rockies hit, that was like, I'm all in on the Rockies.
Yeah. So, a lot of 07 fans there.
Yeah.
James, were we in Colorado for one of those Rymac Jacks?
Yeah. Blake, do you remember who they were playing?
I think it was I know for sure the second game was the Dodgers because
yeah.
We hit it right to right field. He cleared the wall by nothing.
Yeah.
But,
and he came in for an injured Nolan, right?
I don't remember what happened.
I think he did. Yeah.
But
we were there. We were there for that. It was we were in the stadium at that same time. That was the last time I've been up to a Rockies game in Colorado.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Okay.
I can't believe it was 18. It's been a hot minute.
Was it 18? Maybe 19? I don't know.
It was 18. Yeah.
Because we were there for James's bachelor party. That's why we were there. So you'd remember. Yeah, 2018. Can't believe it's been 5 years.
That's crazy. How do you say that? It's been 5? Yeah. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
Were you at the roof too?
Yeah, 5 years for it. Were you at the rooftops at all?
The first game
We might
was.
have.
The second game, I wasn't because I was with my dad. We were actually right behind the dugout. But the first game, I definitely was.
Okay, so we missed each other probably about 24 hours. So
Yeah.
we watched the whatever the gate, the fencing there. We were just leaning and we watched the entire game up there. It was awesome.
That rooftop is sweet.
Yeah. And you saw the sunset going beyond, and then the Rymac Jack just like falls right under us.
Falls right there, yeah.
It was sweet. It was a cool moment. I can't believe we've had that connection. That's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I appreciate you, Blake. Won't take up too much more of your time. Keep grinding. And let's keep in touch. It's always fun catching up, and then keep doing your thing, dog.
Sounds good. Nice talking to you guys.
Appreciate it. Later, man.
Yeah.